Time to open today's Advent. So day 2 of Naughty Pine Fiber. Definitely a fade. So when I bought, this is Pine Martin. So when I bought her her Advent, it didn't say anything about it being a fade, but it is, and then I read somewhere on Instagram that it was going to be a fade. So this is hers for today. So it will fade nicely, and I need to give you guys an Advent update. Okay, day 2. This one here is from Annie from Knits and Burls. This is so adorable. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I just love that. Legacy Fiber Arts Painter's Smock is this color. Let's see. Oh, how fun is this? Look at it. It's like a bear yarn with like little dots of colors, like something that you would see on a painter smock. So like that is super, very appropriately named, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So cute. Oh, I love that. So I need to talk about my Advent pattern for a little bit. As you've heard me talk about in the intro, Advent intro and all of that, and what I was doing for Advent, I was going to work on the Battenberg blanket and have a main color, just like some bare yarn, and then make 2 squares out of every Advent mini. So I worked up my first square last night for day 1 yarn, and I think it's a more plump yarn than what I was playing around with, and then my bare yarn, because my first square ended up being over 11 grams, which would only leave me 9 grams to do a second square, which definitely would not work. So I would only be able to get 1 square out of every mini, and I really wanted to use up both and use as much yarn as I could. So what I did instead is I just switched gears and I found another pattern. It is the Salem's Path. It's a shawl. I'll put it up on the screen here. I don't know, I've actually really been enjoying wearing shawls lately, so I think it was a good fit for like a good switch. The issue is that I bought the pattern, I printed it off, and I'm reading, like going through the instructions last night, and you start on day 25. Because I think she's trying to incorporate all of the colors, and she designed the Advent, it's like Barker's Box, I think is the website. And so she designed this pattern with her own Advent mini skein in mind. And so like you see in the pattern that the end color, or like the edging on this, is like a light gray color. And so I think it just ties in everything, all the extra colors that she has in her Advent. But this one is a fade. So that was the other thing too, is that Kayla's is a fade. And I think I mentioned earlier, I didn't know that when I bought it. I found that out through a comment on an Instagram post that like somebody had asked if it was a fade, and she said yes. So I didn't know that, and so it makes picking a pattern a little bit more tricky. So anyways, I had to make an executive decision. So I'm going with that pattern with the Salem's Path, and I opened day 25. I just did it. So this is day 2, but you'll see. Day 25. I'm okay with my decision. The color, I think, will tie everything, tie it all together, but you use day 25 like a few times throughout the shawl. I may not put it in like she has it. I may omit those rows, which is totally easy to do because you're basically working like color 1 through 24. So like you start with day 25 and then you work colors 1 through 24 in the 8 pattern repeat. And then she then like goes back and you use like color 10 again, then 9, then 8, then 7, 6. And so like it kind of helps to tie all the colors together. So we're like, it's a garter tab. It's not really a garter tab, but like you start in the middle of the shawl, like the back top middle of the shawl. And so your first days are very small. You know, your repeats you're hardly using any yarn. So I love the fact that she goes back and puts those at the end again. And like it makes it all flow better. It incorporates everything very easily. If you guys can hear that hum in the background, my son is doing his gardening job. And so we pay him to do our gardening. We had to fire our gardener over a year ago. He was hitting on me. So we fired him like that same day. So he's been doing it ever since, and he does a good job, but we pay him to do that. And so that's what you're hearing in the background. But anyways, back to the Advent. So like I said, I think I'm going to omit the day 25 throughout the shawl. I don't think it's necessary. And I think that because the Naughty Pines Advent is a fade, I think it'll actually look really nice without the day 25 mixed in there. I understand why the designer did it that way for her own Advent, but this Advent, I don't think it's necessary. So I do think it'll be just a little bit smaller. I think you use it 2 or 3 more times in there, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big shawl. So if I could see myself like, so she does like day 1 through 10. She repeats that on the back side. The leaf blower is really going right now. He like put it on turbo mode. Okay, so I could see myself kind of weighing out my yarn and maybe doing like 11 through 1 on the back side to help make up a row or 2, or even 12 through 1 on the back side. But I think I would have to weigh the yarn and make sure that I don't cut myself short on those rows. And then I will use the row or the day 25 again for the border edge. It's a 2x2 ribbing, maybe 3x3, 4x4. I haven't looked that far into the pattern, but so it's a ribbing on the edge, which really ties it all together nicely. So I am excited about it. I was a little bit bummed because I had done so much prep work to make sure that everything worked out great. And what I probably should have done is used some of the Naughty Pines like leftover yarn that I have from her. I'm sure I have some somewhere, to see if I could get 2 squares from a 20 gram mini. So that would have been smart to do instead. That leaf blower is like right by the window, so that's why. Who knows, I may be filming all of this again. So with that said, I will, because it's just the little tab section is the day 25, I will do my best and edit and try to be very, very meticulous about covering that section up so that I don't ruin the surprise for anybody if you have the Naughty Pine Advent calendar. And yeah, so I will just be very, very diligent about that. If I show myself working on it, I will make sure that that part is hidden. So I don't want you guys to feel like, oh my gosh, she's working on it, I can't see it, because I will not show it. So with that said, I am excited again. And I think that especially these first few days, it will be pretty easy to get going and caught up. Like I already did the garter tab in the day 25. And so I feel like I'm just kind of starting now day 1's color, and I'll finish day 2's color next. So my best guess is that the designer designed it thinking that you would open everything up and then work on your Advent. And I like to work on it as I go. So I understand like why it is that way. And I think it really does make everything cohesive if you aren't doing a fade, but since I'm doing a fade, I think it's okay. But anyway, so that's that. Hope that makes sense. And like I said, I promise I will not ruin the surprise for anybody. So I got all caught up on day 1 for Advent, and I didn't want to show you guys because the colors, there's like a big slip stitch component in this shawl, and so that's my dog. She barks anytime anybody is outside. So that's okay. So the color, like the first color, or like each color will go up into the next rows and up into the next color for like potentially 6 rows. So there's this huge, like these long slipped stitches, which makes for a really fun pattern. And when it called for a US 5 needle for fingering weight yarn, I was a little bit leery about that, but I understand why, because of the nature of the slipped stitches. So it's a really fun pattern. I've already memorized the pattern repeat, and you just do 8 rows per color. So right now it's really quick because there aren't that many stitches on the needle. I'd love to get to day 2, but I'm not sure that that will happen. I might have to do that tomorrow morning. I'm gonna go ahead and wind it up because I need to put my my ball winder away. You can see it right there. We have company coming over tonight, so we've kind of had a fun day. Like my husband and I, we went to a Christmas fair today at one of the local farms in our area, and we just had a little day date. We went to our one of our favorite coffee shops in town and played games, and I won. We played cribbage. It's one of our games that we've played. I learned how to play that as a kid, and then I taught him when we were dating, and we've been together for total of 29 years. We've been married for 26, almost and a half. So anyways, so we had coffee and played games, and then we've just been taking care of a few house things. We have company coming tonight, just some very old friends that we've had for a very long time. They're not old, our friendship is old. And my son is going to a dance tonight. We, like, if you followed me for any amount of time, you know we homeschool. But one of the moms that has a PE business, like she does PE classes for the kids, but then she also hosts this dance for the kids. And they have a pretty good turnout for like homeschool kiddos. Like they have a really good turnout. So they actually are at a new location this year. I don't know if it was just a better location or if maybe they outgrew their old one. I'm not sure. But so he's having, and it's a formal dance. So he's wearing a tie and slacks and all of that. And then him and his buddy are going to go get dinner ahead of time. And then we'll take him to the dance. And then we're meeting our friends for dinner at a nearby restaurant. We didn't want to go to the same place that him and his buddy's going to. And then we'll come back to our house and play games. We love to play Pinochle. We've been really into a game called Doomlings lately. It's a super fun game. And then we also play Catan, which if you saw day 1 of Vlogmas, you saw me and my kiddos and my husband all play that. We always play games during dinner. So we typically don't allow like cell phones at the table. And so we play games instead. And we talk a lot of smack, and while we are competitive, I also don't mind losing either. It's just super fun to play. And so we play a lot of games. So I'm sure you will see a lot of that during the Vlogmases episodes and everything. I'll try to get some more of that in. So I am going to clean up a few things around the house and get the house ready for company tonight. And then if I have any extra time, I'm going to sit down and do my my cross stitch, my embroidery stitch along, if I have time for that. Look at this picture. We were so young, so little. came across this as I was going through a couple piles of stuff to organize.